Okay, so just going back now to the initial stage where you get this file package. These are the questions you need to be answering. And really, in order of importance, this is the order that they are. So, like I was saying earlier, a lot of project managers I've worked with have not really concentrated on the process and establishing that. All they're bothered about is getting a word count and getting that file off translation as fast as possible. They know that engineering, processing, design, so that's what they do. They send it to engineering, get it processed, off to translation, and then when it comes back from translation, past the typesetters to tidy up and go, well, the graphics text is missing, or we don't have these files, or this is the wrong source file. And you know, you've wasted time, wasted translators' time, wasted cost. So getting that established right the word go at that quote stage if possible, then it saves all sorts of mistakes. If possible, get it done for the quote so that you can go back to the client with the accurate quote. But time constraints are normally an issue with quoting. So you might not be able to get everything fully checked and established at the quote stage for lots of reasons. So again, make sure that you and the client knows that this is based on certain assumptions or based on certain issues that are going to be resolved. So what we actually aim to localise, that's the most important thing, establishing what it is we're doing, what file types are involved in localising that target file, are there any files that are missing, are there any files that we're unsure how to process, are there any files that are linked to that file, things like that. And then from establishing what files you've got to work with, what processes are going to be involved, who's going to do it, are you going to need the typesetter, are you going to need engineering, are you going to need both. If it's a more complex project involving interaction, like an e-learning project, is it going to need audio as well? Is it going to need skilled proofreaders who can, use Internet Explorer to check files? Many more issues crop up when you get more complex projects. And then once you establish the process as best you can, then we'll work out costs for each stage. And whether or not you present that flow of processes and each cost for each stage to the client is up to you, obviously, but I quite like to give them as much information as possible, really, just so that we can see that not only where the price comes from, but we know what we're doing and we've got a process in place to do it. And then, last of all, for your translator, cost, how many words are we talking about? And really, establishing that can only be done after the other questions have been answered, because you don't really know until you get to that point what needs to be localised and what content you've got. Now, with just one more point with this is to do with the manual extraction text. When you're doing a quote, you want to get that quote back as fast as you can, and usually passing files to engineering to give you a word count or using Trados tools to do that is quick. You can do that relatively quickly to get a word count for automated text. Manual text, on the other hand, is a pain. The only way to do it is either go through file by file, screen by screen, count how many words are a manual, or get that text extracted. That's the only way you're going to get an accurate word count for that. So if time's a constraint, then you're going to have to estimate somehow. There's various ways to do this, but the more you estimate, the less accurate it's going to be. ways to do it that I've tried in the past, and you know, as a sort of works, I guess, is you can take a sample of the package, 10% of the files, count those, because that's, you've got time to count that much, and then times it by 10. But you know, the smaller percentage you go, the less accurate it could be. And with some files, it may be way out. You may get 9 of the 10 files have got 50 words in each, and that one file at the end might have 2,000 words in. So you're never going to know that for sure unless you do a complete analysis and get all the text either extracted or counted. So the strategy for doing that is to give an estimate at the quote stage, and then once the initial file processing has occurred, you're then at the point where you've got all your text ready for translation, so you can establish your accurate word count. So, you know, it's swings and roundabouts depending on how you want to deal with it, but in terms of facts, that's the only place you can establish it really, is just before you're ready to start translation. And before you start translation, you should really have everything else sorted as well, your process, all your costs, everything scheduled and booked. I wouldn't recommend really starting translation until that's done if possible, because certainly in terms of analysing the content and working out what needs to be translated, like I say, because if you miss anything, you know, things can change, then you know, you've either translated too much text or not enough. And if in doubt, ask an expert. I'm always available. I'm sure you've got plenty of other people as well who are knowledgeable about these sort of files. So, and most of us will give advice for free if it's not too complex. In terms of quoting, if you wanted to get advice or getting word counts and things like that, then I'm happy to do that work before I go ahead. If it's more than an hour or two, then I'll charge for it, and then that can be, you know, included in the price when it's gone ahead, and not later as well. But yeah, it's up to you how you want to do that really with the supplies that you've got. I mean, nobody really likes to invest money and pay out money just for quotes. So I mean, another alternative is a client you've got a good relationship with is to look at charging for large quotes. But it's very tricky to do because clients are reluctant to pay. So it's either investing money to get accurate quotes so that you can get, you know, win the work and prove to the client that you're dedicated and you're committed to doing it, or otherwise it's going to have to be an estimate.
It's very much down to the salesman's, isn't it, to find out exactly who and what they're quoting against.
Sure, yeah, that's right. So yes, it's a bit of a juggling, balancing act, right, to work out how far, how detailed you go, how much time you invest basically in the quote, how badly you want to work. I mean, if it's an ongoing client, you might, there might be some way to set up a chargeable quote scheme where the same stuff can be replied. Another thing to do is, if you have done work of similar nature before, but it is a big project and it does require a lot of analysis, you can use that data you had previously to further estimate and improve your estimate as well. So if you've got a e-learning project that was 50 slides, then and you've done maybe 2 or 3, and you know that on average for that sort of size project you're going to be charging a certain amount. So that might help you at least, you know, sanity check the current project that you're quoting on to make sure it's not too much more or less than what you've done before. And